Y'all know that I do not show my emotions on the internet. I don't show them in real life either. I'm not very like emotional. I'm not an emotional person. Um, but today is my birthday, March 14, Saturday, and I just need like a PSA to go out to everybody. Like, make sure that you look out for your people. Birthday being on a Saturday, I thought that it would be easy for everybody to come and show out, and not even show out, just show up. I am an introvert, you guys. I know I show like a big personality on the internet, but in real life, I am quiet. I am to myself. I stay in the house. I don't really like do much outside of traveling. I am just a very introverted, like little big hearted Pisces. I don't know what else to say. And I did not want to do anything for my birthday. I'm going on a trip. That's all I really wanted to do. And my friends were like, you should have like a dinner. You should book a dinner. And I'm like, I don't really like celebrating my birthday, but we can do like a small dinner. So I booked a reservation February like 20, like 3.5 weeks ago. Told everybody, gave them a 3.5 week notice for dinner tonight at 8 p.m. And literally every single person canceled. So not one person showed up. And I am just like the type of person that does not ask for much. Like, I don't ask for anything. I really don't. Like, I do not like to ask others for anything. And I feel like I'm a good friend, and I feel like I'm there for my friends, and I would never do that to someone, especially not on their birthday. And I'm like, not even like mad. That's like the crazy part. Like, I'm not mad. I'm very disappointed. Like, I bought a $250 dress. Like, I booked a reservation at a restaurant I've always wanted to go to, but I've never gone to. And I gave them like 3.5 weeks notice to get off work. Like, 3 couldn't get off work, which I get that. We all have lives. And then like others went to the St. Patrick's Day like block party. I live in Dallas, so it's St. Patrick's Day weekend. They throw like a huge block party downtown Dallas, and they all went, and they thought that they were going to be able to make it back in time for dinner. It is 6 p.m. They were supposed to be back to like help me with my hair and makeup, and they canceled a couple hours ago because they're obviously not going to make it back. Like, I knew that was going to happen, but whatever, there's nothing I can do. And I feel like it's just a PSA to like take care of your people, because I feel like we live in a world where like no one is genuine anymore with anything, and like everyone's like super selfish. And I like am just disappointed. Like, nobody, like not one person showed up. Like, I had a reservation for 5-6 people, including me. So like, I invited 5 people to the dinner, y'all. It wasn't even like a dinner of like 10 to 15 people, because that's literally a disaster, and that's overstimulation for me. Like I said, like, I'm very introverted. I talk to the same 5 people every day. I have a very, very, very small circle. And like, I invited 5 of the closest people that I have in Dallas, because my family's not here. My family lives in Michigan. I'm in Texas, so I can't spend time with them. And like, not one person showed up. Literally not one. Like, I got a dress, I got shoes, like, I got a cake, like, and yeah, it's 6:04 p.m. I have a raging headache because I've been crying, and I'm tired, and I'm sad that I just felt like nobody could come through for me today. And I normally don't ask like literally for anything or for anyone to come through for me any other day. And I just thought today would be a given because it was my birthday, but obviously not. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna take a shower and lay down, because I'm just very overwhelmed with everything that's been going on, and I already didn't have a good week anyway. So yeah, this is 29. I never show my emotions on the internet. I don't like to do that. I don't like to cry like in front of people at all. But I just feel like if there's something that should be said, it's like, make sure you take care of your people, your family, your friends, because a lot of people are self-centered and they just won't come through. Like, I didn't think it was asking too much to go to a 2-hour dinner. That's all I literally asked, was for a 2-hour dinner from 8 to 10 on a Saturday night in downtown Dallas. Very nice restaurant. They could have gone out after. They could have done whatever they wanted. I wasn't going to go out after, but they probably would have. And like, yeah, texting me 2 hours ago asking me to cancel the reservation or to push the dinner back 2 hours because they wanted to party. So they asked me to push the dinner back to 10. Restaurant closes at 10. Asking me if I would move it to another day because they just have too much going on right now. And apparently the St. Patrick's Day party was too much going on. So yeah, I'm calling it a day because I'm overstimulated and I have a headache and I'm sad. And you know, us Pisces, you know anything about Pisces, I have a very big heart for everybody that I have in my life, and I try to do what I can for everybody else. Like, I'm a Pisces, people pleaser all the way, and the fact that I just felt like it wasn't that asking that much for people to come to a dinner, and nobody could come. So I just feel like that says a lot. And I think next year, Dirty 30 probably will just be spent with my family because friends come and go, you know? So, yeah. That's my TED Talk for the day. Make sure you guys take care of your friends and your family because it does matter. Even if they say it doesn't matter, it matters. So, yeah. I hope you guys have a blessed weekend.
It's December 2019. I'm in San Antonio, Texas, working on my master's when I go through a pretty bad breakup. So I decided to fly back home to SoCal for the holidays so I can spend Christmas with my family and New Year's Eve with my friends. Or so I thought. Now, my family's in LA. My friends are in San Diego because that's where I went to college. And I'm really only going down there to visit 2 people, Brandy, Andrea. Yes, these are their real names. No, I don't care. Brandy and I have known each other since freshman, sophomore year. We laugh, we joke, we always have a great time together. She even moved in with me senior year of college because she had nowhere to go. So I let her stay in my bedroom until we both graduated. I'm going to stay with her when I get down there. And we are going to go out New Year's Eve night. Everything should be good. Andrea, on the other hand, much more stuffy, bougie, upper class. On top of that, she has a husband. I'm not trying to have her out all night. We're going to do brunch on New Year's Day. Plans are set. I post on my Instagram story before I even get down there. Hey guys, I'm gonna be in town. Hit me up if you know any parties. For everybody else that I know down there. I get hit up by somebody that me and Brandy used to call Community Dick, right? This man was everywhere. He was with me, he was with Brandy, he was with whoever he could get his hands on. Me and Brandy would laugh and joke about it. We really didn't care. So he says, I would love to take you out on New Year's Day for dinner. And I was like, I don't know. I'm gonna call Brandy and ask. I call Brandy. Hey girl, so-and-so wants to take me out. Is that cool with you? Because I'm mainly going there to visit her, right? And she was like, oh yeah, like you just went through a breakup, like have him take you out and, you know, buy you some stuff or something. I was like, cool. So, of course we're not going to be together because I live in Texas, right? So he knows that as well. We're all on the same page, or at least I thought we were. When I get down there and we are going out for New Year's Eve, we're looking for clubs and where we want to go. We see him and some of his friends, our friends, mutual friends, in line for a club. I'm like, oh, great. We can just hop in line with them. It'll be perfect. We're driving by. When I tell you she peels off, just skirts out of there. And she's like, I don't want to go there. I'm going to go back up. We drove 45 miles back up to North County, San Diego. So that way we could go to some random bar. And I was like, girl, I don't care. Like, we'll just do whatever you want to do. I'm not pressed about it. She starts buying me drinks. We're having a great time. She buys me like 4 Adios MFers. If you know what that is, then you already know. I throw up in the bar. I apologize. I'm like crying at this point because I'm so upset that this has happened. And we leave. we are gonna go to Denny's so that way we can get some food in our stomach and maybe I can stop throwing up, because I continued to throw up in the Denny's parking lot. As I'm doing that, she is like, oh, let me see your phone. I'm going to look up, some things that we can do so that way we can maybe get you to stop throwing up. And I was like, yes, absolutely, go ahead. So she's on my phone for a little bit. She's like, hey, I'm going to go inside. I have to run to the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, sure. She leaves me in the parking lot of the Denny's, extremely drunk, throwing up out of the passenger door alone at like 2 a.m. on New Year's Eve. And finally, she takes 30 minutes in there. So I go inside. I'm sitting at like the waiting area before you get seated for her to get out of the bathroom. I'm leaning. People are asking me. The staff is concerned. Are you okay? Do you need us to call somebody? I'm like, no, my friend's in the bathroom. I'm fine. She finally comes out the bathroom. We get seated at a table. That is where she decides to spill her guts that the man that we call Community Dick, she's secretly in love with him, apparently. And she is so mad at me that he wants to be with me that she took my phone so she could go through it while she was in the bathroom and look through all of our text messages and Instagram DMs and all of that to see what we were talking about. As if we were talking for that long. I just got out of a breakup. I haven't spoken to this man in years. You're looking through stuff from like 2016, 2017. But here she is having this big blow up. She is yelling, screaming at me like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would do this. I'm like, girl, I asked you if this was okay and you said yes. I'm so confused right now. I apologize profusely. I even pay for our food at Denny's. I'm sorry. I did not know it was that big of a deal. If you don't want me to go out with him, just say so. We patch things up. We go back to her place. We go to sleep. We wake up the next day and she's like, you know what? I was a little drunk too. I was tripping. It's not that serious. If you still want to see him, you can see him. It's fine. I'll even drop you off. It's not that big of a deal. I'm like, are you so sure? Because last night was dramatic. And she's like, yeah, everything's fine. So I'm like, okay, we are going to go to brunch with my friend Andrea. Her and Andrea don't even know each other. This is their first time meeting, even though we all went to school together. I'm the mutual friend here. They meet up. I'm like, you guys will like each other. And they did. So much so that they start dogpiling, talking shit about me. Andrea started it, actually. And the backstory on her, she had a miscarriage back in undergrad that she told me about once and then immediately regretted it. And she called me and was like, actually, pretend like I never told you that ever because I never want to talk about it again. And I was like, heard, word. I'm like 20. I don't know what to say in that situation anyway. So perfectly fine with me. So even when I call her to say, hey, I'm going to be down there. Do you want to hang out the day before, December 30th? She's like, that's the anniversary of my child's miscarriage. How could you ask me that? I'm like, I didn't even know when that date was. I am so sorry. And so that's why we plan to hang out on January 1st. On that day at brunch, she's like, by the way, you never called me to give me condolences or say anything on December 30th when you knew it was the anniversary of my child's miscarriage. Excuse me, ma'am? You told me that I was never supposed to talk about that again. You told me to pretend like you never told me. And that was years ago. I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't know that you wanted me to talk about that ever. And she was like, well, I didn't really, but you still could have been more considerate. Janice, you're so inconsiderate. Then here comes Brandy. Yeah, you're right. Janice is she doesn't care about anybody but herself. And she's just so mean. And this is the reason why she's so vain. They start going in. They are talking so much shit. The waiter is standing there is everything okay? They continue throughout the entirety of brunch. Brandy takes us back home. They're still talking about shit. And we're sitting outside of Brandy's house, just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They're having a grand old kiki about how much they can't stand me while I'm sitting in Brandy's car waiting to go upstairs and get my stuff so I can leave. Because obviously neither one of y'all like me for real. So I need to go. So after I go upstairs, grab my stuff from Brandy's, she again apologizes. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry that we were doing that for so long. We just kind of got into a flow of our conversation, but we were just saying that to, give you constructive criticism. It's not that we don't like you or anything. And I was like, sure. She was like, you don't have to leave yet. You can still stay. And I was like, I think I want to go. So, especially because I have my date with Homeboy right now. So I'm like, hey, he's going to pick me up. I'm just going to go out for a little bit because she's like, don't leave. And I'm like, fine, I'm just going to go out with him for a little bit and then I'll be back. So I go out with him. I tell him everything that's going on. He's like, that's so fucked up. are you good? I'm like, no, I'm not good at all. I want to leave real bad, but I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt because I believe these are my friends. She calls me in the middle of the date and she's like, actually, I'm so mad that you went out on this date, even after I told you that I liked him. Ma'am, what's happening? So then she decides to throw my stuff out of her house, put it on the curb. So then he takes me back to her place, picks my stuff up for me, and he drives me back home to my mother, which was about 2 hours away. So shout out to him for being the only good person in this story. All of that to say, Brandy, Andrea, both of y'all, okay? I hope that you are somewhere bitter, lonely, and miserable. And for the record, both of these women hit me up afterwards to apologize for the way that they spoke to me and about me. And I let them know that's a really nice apology. Also, never speak to me again.
I broke up with my best friend of 8 years and told her that I wasn't coming to her wedding because I found out that she was cheating on her fiancé. And y'all can say that I'm not a girl's girl for that, but hear me out. She had been obsessed with Elliot, which is her fiancé, obsessed with getting him to propose to her. Once he did propose, all she cared about was wedding day, wedding day, wedding day. She wanted to look top tier for her wedding, right? So she joins this new little gym, okay? She gets a personal trainer. Her little personal trainer, we'll call him Joe, okay? Her and Joe are spending a ton of time together, like all the time. She stopped talking about the wedding so much and was just like totally talking about her and Joe time and how Joe was helping her work on her quads and like all of this stuff. Mind you, we're friends. So I'm like, yeah, I'll go to the gym with you one day. And I noticed that her and Joe, they're extra flirty. They're real flirty. While I'm at the gym, I'm talking to Joe, and I basically observed the fact that Joe doesn't live in the same town as us. Joe lives actually about 45 minutes away, okay? I found that interesting for later. I'm having brunch with my friend about a week after that, and all she talks about is her and Joe. And I'm like, you really haven't mentioned much about the wedding at all, like in a while, like what's going on? And that's when she tells me she's just been focusing on her. Now, about a month out from her wedding, her fiance, Elliot, he flies home for his bachelor trip because that's where they're gonna have it. Like, he's from Vegas, so he goes to Vegas for his bachelor trip, and we decided to take her out, you know, for hers. And she wants to stay in the city. And we're like, okay, fine. Tell me why the whole time she's on her phone, constantly on her phone. I'm like, are you texting Elliot? What's going on? She's like, no, it's Joe. Like, he made this joke, blah 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 blah. Tell me why at around like 11:30, she says that she wants to call it a night. She's feeling kind of tired. It's her bachelorette trip, okay? The night hasn't even started yet and you're tired. Okay, I'm not a huge drinker, so I'm like, whatever, say less. My husband's stoked that I'm coming home, right? We pop a couple spicy cubes, go at it for a couple hours, and I'm up pretty late. I go check my phone at around like, I'd say it's like 2:45. And I go to text my best friend, okay? Because I'm like, girl, you gotta bring these for your honeymoon. Well, you know how on iMessage it tells you where the person's at when you go to text them? Tell me why she's in a little town about 45 minutes away. Yeah, you clocked it. The same little town that Joe's from. Same little town Joe's from. Now I find this quite interesting. You left your bachelorette trip so that you could go hang out with your personal trainer. So I screenshot that. And I text her the next morning and ask her if she wants to go get brunch. She said she has a really busy day and she can't. Blows me off. Okay, fine. A couple of hours pass and I end up having a missed call from Elliot. He texts me and says that he needs my best friend to call him. And I'm thinking, that's odd. So I call my friend and I'm like, I don't want to say your name. We'll call her Sarah. I call Sarah and I'm like, hey, Sarah, why is Elliot calling me looking for you? She's like, oh, I've got a surprise happening for him right now. Like, please just like don't text him back. I'm on my way home anyway. Like, I told him I was with you. Okay, I'm like, so what's the surprise? She's like, I can't really talk about it right now. Okay. Mind you, her location, still in that same little town. Okay. Now, I feel guilty ignoring Elliot because, like, that's just not my personality. And mind you, it's not like she's came out and was open and honest with me in any way, shape, or form. I'm not saying her whole life is my business, but she's being sus. I'm your best friend. You can't even really tell me what you've got going on. Even if you're in the wrong, like, you're not going to tell me. This goes on for quite some time, that I catch her location being at this exact address, okay? The next weekend was our best friend's birthday, and she completely ditched all of us. Guess where she was? At that location. So I call her up and I'm like, we got to talk. We meet up, we're getting dinner, and I'm like, I know that you've been at Joe's. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, girl, I've seen your location. I know you've been there. Like, you just need to come clean. Like, obviously you're into him. Like, she's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. We've hung out. What's so wrong with that? And I'm like, you're engaged and you've hung out at 2:45 in the morning. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, I've seen your location. Like, I know where you've been. She's like, it doesn't even matter. Like, I've ended things with him. I'm like, oh, you've ended things with him. She's like, yeah, I've ended things with him. I'm like, so you guys had a thing going on? And she's like, yeah, we did. Obviously, you know, because you've been creeping on me. I'm like, I'm not been creeping on you. Like, I'm not trying to be, like, not a girl's girl. She's like, obviously, you know, and you're judging me. I'm not trying to judge you, girl. We make mistakes. You know, people make mistakes, but, like, just be honest with me. Be honest with Elliot. Say something. Like, you're not 20 years old. You're 30. Like, girl, frontal lobes developed. I fear you know better. And that's when she tells me she refuses to tell him and that she doesn't want me to be her maid of honor anymore because I'm even asking her to. I'm like, so you really feel comfortable knowing that 2 weeks ago you were with another man and now you want to go marry him? 2 weeks ago you're with another man. And she tells me that I'm a terrible friend and that's out of my business. And I was like, you know what? I can't be friends with you because honestly, I don't think I can trust you. And I don't keep people in my circle who I can't trust. Literally 2 days later, Elliot is blowing up my phone because he says that he knows that something's not right with her and that something's been going on and he just wants someone to be honest with him. The thing is, this man would still marry her in a heartbeat, knowing what she did, as long as, like, she was just honest. So my thing is, I don't think if I told him the truth that it would blow up their wedding, but do we think he deserves to know, considering this was 2 weeks ago? I'm not going to attend the wedding and I just can't be her friend because I can't trust her. But what about him?
Why don't we do a story time while we get ready to go out? This is a story about my ex-best friend of 15 years. I have another story time about her. It's a 10-minute video, if you guys can find it on my page. But I only did like part one. It was about her being really toxic in our friendship, how she would give me backhanded compliments all the time. And then she would microanalyze my mannerisms, what I wear, how I talk, even microanalyze my face to the extent where she got plastic surgery to achieve a certain look, which was just way too similar to me, but that's like in a whole other video. Another reason why I broke off this friendship was I have never experienced a friend so male-centered. It was driving me insane. And don't get me wrong, I like to flirt, I like to mingle as well. I understand, like, if you have a person that you want to go for it. And it's not even a specific person or a specific relationship. All she wanted was male validation. It didn't really matter who the person was. Even when we were, like, going out, a girls' night out, the focus would always be whether this had good-looking men or not. I'm a person who can genuinely have so much fun with my friends, regardless of whether there's, like, guys or not. But she was, like, the person who would really kill the vibe if there wasn't any guys, like, looking her way, or ask to leave early if there was nobody catching her attention or giving her the attention that she wanted. In all of our conversations, it would always resort back to men. Sometimes it can be fun, like girl talk, like all the juicy stuff and all that. I'm all in for that, but I think I've hit a certain age where conversation does not always have to revolve around men. Sometimes it can be tiring because she would be in situations back to back. I couldn't catch up. There's like other things to talk about that are fun. We would always end up talking about her latest situationship, or how she's talking to this person, or how this person makes this much money, like very superficial stuff. But there are a few incidents where I realized that, oh, I don't think she values me as much as a friend as I do to her. Because I remember she's been telling me about this guy that she thought was really cute. He apparently has a podcast on YouTube. She sent him an Instagram request and he accepted. So she shot her shot. She slid into his DMs. Apparently he was visiting Korea at the time. So, you know, she was being very friendly. And then he says that, oh, he's gonna go out clubbing on a specific date. And she gets that information and then she texts me. She asked me if we wanted to go to a cafe and get some work done. I was like, of course, let's have like a wholesome date. I brought my laptop. I wasn't like ready to go out. But then while we were working on our stuff, she really wants to go out that specific night. I was like, why? That's so random. If I wouldn't be wearing this, I wouldn't have brought all my textbooks in my laptop. And she's like, I'm just feeling like going out today. It seemed like it would be fun. So I was like, okay. But mind you, she did not tell me that this night out was because of that guy. So we went out, bar hopping, club hopping, and all that. And then it was like 2 a.m. She seemed like really fidgety and like anxious. She kept on like looking in the club for somebody. So of course I was asking like, are you looking for somebody? And she's like, no, but you know, this guy, the guy that I was telling you about, apparently he's here with his friends. He's coming to this specific club. So I wanted to say hi. Like, oh, I did not know. Is this why you insisted to go out today? And she's like, no, I wanted to spend time with you and all that. But it just kind of didn't make sense. Like, why would you consistently ask me to go out even though you know that I'm super tired? So I realized, oh, the reason why she wanted me to go out with her was because of this guy. So I was like, okay, find your man, like, say hi to him. And she's like, oh, but you seem pretty tired. Don't you want to leave? It's a super crowded area in Seoul. It's almost impossible to grab a cab in Itaewon. Keep notes because it's impossible. So I told her, yeah, I do want to go home, but I'm gonna call a cab and confirm that it's coming and wait for the confirmation before I leave the club because I know it's gonna be super crowded. She's like, are you sure? Go out and grab the cab. The signal is like not working, but the signal is fine. I was like, why is she like rushing this? Like, does it really matter when I leave? And at that time, the guy, he comes in with his friends and he says hi to my friend and he says hi to me too. And of course I say hi, but I don't know who this person is. I don't really care. I was not that interested. He's like, oh, where are you from? Like, how do you speak English and all that? And then my then friend, she stops the conversation. She's like, no, my friend, she's leaving soon. You guys like go in first and I'll follow up. Like, go. And she kind of basically pushes him and then pushes me. I wasn't even interested in the guy. She basically like kind of forces me to like go home. So I was like, okay, I am gonna go home. But like I had like a weird gut feeling that night. But I was still friends with her to that point. I have like a crazier story, but I know this video is gonna be way too long. So I'm gonna save that up for a different time. There were so many signs to, you know, end this friendship. But I don't know, maybe I had like hope for her because she's really good with her words. So she sends me like a long paragraph saying like, oh, thank you for going out with me. I love going out with you. I hope you arrived home safely. Like, let's catch up soon. There's so much tea. So I was like, maybe I was like not in the best condition. I don't want to see her as a bad person. But yeah, that was like one little story. This just reminded me of how being friends with male-centered girls is kind of hard.
I had a three-way with my best friend and her boyfriend, and now my best friend hates me. And y'all can just let me know if this is a valid reason to hate your best friend, because I don't think so. Like, me and her have been friends for like 20 years. We went to college together in high school and through all those like crazy parties and stuff like that. So we've like dabbled in some things like together, like making out, and we've kissed each other before, but never like, you know, sleeping with each other or just another woman, period. Her boyfriend had mentioned to her that he wanted to try something a little new, you know, kind of spice up their relationship. They've been together for like 7 years now. And he proposed the idea of a three-way. And she brought it up to me and proposed it to me and asked me if I would be in this three-way, because obviously we'd been friends, like I said, for 20 years. And she was like, I feel like I would be the most comfortable around somebody I obviously know very well rather than a random person, which in my opinion, I feel like I would be so the other way around. I would want it to be a random person, but I was like, okay, I love new experiences and you are my best friend. So why not? Then it comes time to have this three-way, okay? I literally got some bottles of champagne and stuff like that, brought it over. We had some champagne and everything just to kind of loosen our, you know, the vibe up a little bit. I didn't tell them, but I popped a spicy cube before this went down in the bedroom. So then we go to the bedroom, we get started, whatever, and things are a tad bit awkward, as I suspected. But then we start having fun and everybody starts loosening up. And honestly, like, this is like better than I had actually expected, but I could tell that she was a little bit uncomfortable, which is normal, and I get it, because like, you're literally like, this is the first time you're doing anything like this with your boyfriend that you've been with for so long. Honestly, if it was me and I was with somebody for that long, first of all, if he hadn't proposed and then he's proposing 3 ways, I would be a little caught off guard, but that's just me. But then we ran into some issues during this 3-way incident. So I guess they had talked prior about like rules or whatever of like what was okay and what was appropriate and what was not, and I knew nothing about these rules. So then her boyfriend starts making remarks and they're directed towards me. And I know her like the back of my hand. I know this is not something she would have wanted. And he keeps mentioning how he wants to finish in or on me. I know my best friend like the back of my hand. I know for a fact, like, even if this was one of their rules, like, I know this is not something that she would have wanted, and I even feel uncomfortable with that. I'm here as the third wheel, right? Like, shouldn't that be something that you and her finish doing? You get what I'm saying? Obviously, I said no to him, literally, like, in the middle of this happening. She heard me say no. So then when we're all done and we're, like, putting on our clothes and stuff, she went to the bathroom, and I could tell that she was, like, furious. I went in the bathroom, and I was like, hey, are you mad? Like, I understand, like, that probably was uncomfortable. Like, just talk to me. Are you okay? She straight up ignored me, like I literally wasn't standing there or talking to her, and then she turned around and left the bathroom. And when I was done getting dressed and whatnot, I went downstairs and I was getting in my car. I could literally hear them screaming at each other from outside. At that point, I knew that like it was either that, which I'm not stupid, that, you know, she was mad about, or it was like another rule that they had made that was broken. I texted her when I also got in the car, and I told her, I was like, hey, I had fun, but if there's anything you want to talk about, if I did anything to upset you, like, just let me know. Well, she never texted me back, and that's been like 2 days ago, and every other Saturday, her boyfriend works, and me and her go to brunch. Well, I texted her like any other normal Saturday, and I said, hey, are we still doing brunch? And didn't get a response. So I called her, and that's when I realized I've been blocked. I can't help what happened. I can't help like what he said, but honestly, this is not my fault. And to be honest, this was their idea. So how is this my fault?
Storytime part 1 of how I got kicked out of who I thought was my best friend's wedding as her maid of honor. We met when her husband got hired to work for my husband's company. We were hosting like this little Christmas party. I think it was Christmas. This little Christmas party. And they came, and her and I clicked right away. We're around the same age. Our husbands are around the same age. Well, her fiance is around the same age. There's an age gap for both of us, so that was just kind of like fun and funny. It was nice to have someone who could relate to the same type of things. Our husbands did the same type of work. Whatever. It was just nice to have someone close in age, close by, close in our lives because they worked for us. And that's how we met. So we did become pretty close. I was pretty shocked when she asked me to be her maid of honor because we didn't or hadn't known each other very long at that point. But I was excited. I was honored. It was a huge deal, and it sounded like so much fun to me. So I spent a lot of time, money, effort, energy, thought, love into planning her wedding with her, into planning her bachelorette trip with her, into paying for things for it, into doing things for it. Just all the things, coordinating with her mom, with her family, all the things. And I honestly loved it. I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't. So I really had a lot of fun with that part of things. I really enjoyed getting to do that. That's something that I'll always look back on and be like, that was fun. I'm glad I got that experience. So this is kind of more so in response to if you've already seen her video. If you haven't seen her video, she posted a video after all this happened, dogging on me. Pretty much saying like, oh, I kicked her out and here's what she did. So in her videos, she does say that her husband, you know, worked for us. Very true. She did also say that he was really high up in the company. Not true. He was a sales manager, project manager. Sales manager? I'm going to be totally honest. I don't even actually know what his official title was. I know that he worked with like getting jobs done. So I think product management. I really don't know. I'm sorry. But he was not high up in this company. He had a direct supervisor. He had CFO's ahead of him, CEO's ahead of him, my husband. He was not high up in this company. He really wasn't. Why she felt the need to add that, I don't know. She also stated that he had access to all of our personal and business info and banking, that they saw everything we were spending, what was coming in, what was coming out, what we personally were spending. That's not true. No one, not a single soul within our company has access to that. Literally not a single soul. There's not a single role in our company that has access to that. We have a third-party tax person who's been hired. We have, like, there's no one in the company that sees that. So why she felt the need to say that, I don't know. I think she wanted it to sound like taboo, and I don't know. I don't know why she said that. That's absolutely positively not true. If he was ever shown like a singular bank statement or something, it was done intentionally. There was reason behind it. I don't know. So that's definitely not true. No one saw or knew what we were spending on money. She tried to make it sound like a lot of like shady things were going on, and that's just not true. The shadiest thing going on was actually on her husband's part. So he did quit. That is absolutely true. He did quit the day his direct manager was fired. So this other gentleman was fired that Thursday morning. And by Thursday, I think like 6 p.m., her fiance had called my husband and was like, hey dude, like I was really close with him. Management's tough. I don't want to have to get used to a new manager. This is my time to exit too. Okay. That original phone call went great. We totally understood. There were no hurt feelings. Me and this friend continued on completely fine. We talked about what's he going to do next. Is he excited? I'm excited for you. It was completely fine. Fast forward, I think it was like 2 weeks to that like following pay period. He had to come in to return his stuff in person and pick up a check as his last check instead of direct deposit. And it just so happened to be the Friday, and her bridal shower was that Saturday. That Friday morning, I was oblivious. I had no idea anything was going on. I texted her in the morning, oh my god, tomorrow's bridal shower day. Are you so excited? Crickets. I text her again in the afternoon, hey, so-and-so is sick. The school just called me. I have to go pick him up. They're sending him home. I don't think we're going to be able to come to your after party tomorrow after the bridal shower. Crickets. Text her a third time, I want to say around like 6 p.m. Don't quote me on that time, but like my texts were pretty spaced out is the point. I had been texting her all day with no response. So I text her again, hey, do you need me to come early to help set up tomorrow? What's the plan? Crickets. So she finally responds later in the evening, and it's like, hey, no, we got it all set up tonight. All that's left is tables tomorrow. Okay. So I go and I look at everyone's socials, and pretty much every other single bridesmaid is there. They were all there setting up together, and I wasn't invited. And she ignored me all day, let alone the fact that she ignored me multiple other times during the week of me asking what the plan was, when we were setting up, if she needed help. I had already been ignored about this multiple times. Clearly, it was intentional. I was intentionally not invited to help set up. I was intentionally not told about the plans. I'm now being intentionally told not to come early tomorrow. And my feelings are hurt. Her husband now at this point is texting my husband, going off, being absolutely cruel, saying awful, horrible things, stating that he was underpaid, which is not at all true. Trying to argue with him. There was some shady stuff going on with him and his direct manager, and so I don't know if the direct manager is the reason he was confused on what the pay was. I really, truly don't know. All I know is he was paid correctly. He was saying some truly horrible, awful things to my husband. My husband kept his composure really well and kind of just like, hey, buddy, what's going on? Like, talk to me. And he just continued to go off. It was really, really rough. And so I reached out to her and I sent her a really nice text, as nice as you possibly could in this situation. And I was like, hey, I'm really uncomfortable. I feel like you don't want me there. That's the vibe I'm already getting. I'm the only one who wasn't invited tonight. All this is going on. I'm not going to come tomorrow. I love you. I care about you. I hope you have the best day. And I'm just going to step back from this day and give everything a minute to kind of calm down. It was pretty much the gist of what my text said. And she responded a little while later, and all she said was, are you joking? Or you're joking, right? I kind of was just frozen and was like, I'm not joking. Like, you're obviously intentionally discluding me. You're making me uncomfortable. Like, no, I'm not joking. And so I kind of just sat there and waited. And then a little while later, she called me. And I answered. Part 2 of how I got kicked out of who I thought was my best friend's wedding as her maid of honor. So let's just pick up right where we left off. I had sent her this text trying to be as nice as I possibly could in that circumstance. My feelings were very hurt. I felt very left out. I felt like I was being intentionally pushed away. And so I was already hurt at this point.
She calls me and I very reluctantly answer this call. I was scared. I was nervous. It just felt like a lot. So I answer this phone call and she is angry. She's kind of just going off and ranting at first, and I understood. So I let her. I kind of just listened. And then it got to a point in the conversation that she was throwing in a lot of digs at me, digs at my husband, digs at our company, saying some really hurtful things that I didn't want to tolerate and didn't want to hear. So I kind of shut it down and was just like, hey, like, if we're gonna agree to leave the boys' stuff and their issues to them, then let's do it. Let's stop talking about it. I did ask her multiple times without being dramatic, without overestimating. I want to say I asked her seriously at least 5 times. If you want me there tomorrow, let me know. I will come. I will be there for you. She would not. She would not answer if she wanted me there. She would not give me a yes or no. She kept saying things like, you're a big girl, make your own choices, do what you want. You should know what I want. She would not answer, which should have been my first sign at how this was going to go, honestly. And it wasn't. I just thought she was hurt, which I understood. So I apologized over and over again profusely. Like, I'm really sorry, I wasn't trying to hurt you. She did make comments like, oh, you're doing this intentionally to hurt me. That wasn't the case. I did tell her, like, I'm so sorry, I didn't want to hurt you. Over and over again. So this conversation kind of went in circles. It finally ended with, okay, let's reconvene tomorrow. Sleep on it. Let's see how I feel in the morning, blah, blah, blah. So in the morning, I woke up. I was still very conflicted. I did ultimately decide to go. I did let her know, kind of last minute, I guess. It was like 9 a.m. The shower was at 11. So I guess that could be considered last minute. But up until 10 p.m. the night before, she had fully expected me to be there. Like, there was never a doubt that I would be. So it's not like she had to all of a sudden plan last minute, like, oh, now she is coming. I should have been there regardless. So I did tell her I was going to come. I didn't get a response, which made me feel very uneasy and kind of just anxious even just going there. I was like, okay, like, I really didn't feel wanted. I didn't feel like I was wanted there, and I was very nervous, but I didn't not want to show up for her on her day. So I did go. I'm going to have to do a part 3 just on what actually happened at the shower and the way I was treated. I don't want to cry. It was rough. It was a little bit rough. It was a little bit embarrassing and humiliating. So we'll make a part 3 on just that in itself. But I do want to address the gift and the gift that I had planned on giving her at the shower that I did not give her, which is pretty much what her entire part 2 is about. I had purchased a 4 glass set, martini glass set that was gold rimmed, super cute, super her style. I knew she would love them. I purchased her a Louis Vuitton miniature perfume set that had, I think, 5 or 6 different perfumes in it. I have one. I got one for our other friend for her bridal shower. I knew she would love it. I also went just that weekend, the weekend prior to her shower, and picked out a Louis Vuitton bracelet. I've got one. I got one for our other friend for her bridal shower. I thought it would be cute. I thought it would, like, keep this tradition going of this gift that I had got all the girls now in our friend group. Well, one previous, and now this would have been like another one. So I wanted to kind of keep this tradition going. I thought it would be cute. I thought it'd be sweet. I spent a lot of time picking it out. I looked at so many. My sweet rep, who I know there, was so helpful. I texted her right before and was like, hey, I'm on the way. Like, can you help me? I did find the perfect bracelet that I really thought she would love, and I bought it. I was excited, and I had been talking to one of the bridesmaids before this. Only one. I really wasn't close with the rest. I didn't really talk to any of the other girls, honestly. Yeah, none of the other girls ever knew about this bracelet that are in the wedding party like she claimed. I had talked to one bridesmaid about, I plan on getting her this. What else should I get her? What do you think? I never actually even showed this girl the bracelet. She never saw it. She never saw it when I picked out. No one knew what it was. I did send photos of the gifts wrapped, which I'll put on here so you can see. I was really proud of how cute they looked. Well, anyways, the morning of, I was getting ready, and it just was sitting so heavy on me that all these comments she was making about, you can't afford it, you guys are broke, you this, you that, like, a lot of the comments they were making that were really hurtful were geared towards us being a young company just starting out. Finances can be hard, and as the owners, we're the first ones to take the hit. And she kind of was making fun of that, and a lot of her comments and digs were at that. And so it felt really wrong, and it felt really untrue to myself to go and give her this now $1,500 combined gift. It didn't feel good to me anymore. So I took the Louis Vuitton bracelet off. I did return it. I returned it 2 days after the shower. I did not keep it. It wasn't for me. I picked it out for her. I did return it.
I gave her the martini glass set, I gave her the Louis Vuitton perfume, and I rewrapped and added our favorite lip mask from one of our favorite brands. It's something all of us girls use, that I knew she would just like and appreciate, because I wanted it to still have the same tiered look, and I'll put a picture of it fully done too. And that was how I brought it, and that was how she got it. I did not think that she would ever even know there was a bracelet. I was not doing that to be mean. I was not doing that to be vindictive. She was still getting this quite expensive gift, this like, I don't want to say extravagant, but like this thoughtful gift that I put a lot of time into, even just wrapping and making pretty. I put a lot of thought into this. So I didn't think she would ever think anything of it. I didn't think that she would ever say anything about it. She did. I did not tell all the other girls. I had told one girl who I had grown quite close to. She never actually even saw what bracelet it was. No one did. No one knew what the actual bracelet was. She had only ever seen like ideas and knew that that was what I was planning on doing, because I was excited. So I just wanted to clarify on that. And we'll have to add a part 3 onto this, which I know sounds so insane, but there's just so much that happened at the shower and her messages following and her video since that I want to address, and I know a lot of people have questions about. So stay tuned, and hopefully part 3 doesn't take as long. I do apologize, but like I said, I'm a mom first, I'm a wife first. This just isn't my priority, and I'm excited to share with you all, but please be patient. Part 3, how I got kicked out of who I thought was my best friend's wedding as her maid of honor. So I decided to go to the bridal shower. I woke up that morning, kind of started slowly like puttering around, made the decision like, no, I need to go, I need to support her. So I sent her a text letting her know, never got a response. It instantly made me feel very nervous, very uneasy. She's always on her phone. She does a lot of content creation, so I knew she saw it, and the no response made me really nervous. So I decided to go anyways. I got her gifts, I got myself together, and I went. The vibes were off instantly with the other girls. I clearly knew that they had all already heard about my text the night before, had heard about our phone call. Some of these girls that I felt like I got pretty close to and like had been building a good relationship with were avoiding me, not really like interacting with me. I spent majority of my time talking to other people that I didn't know, that I had never met, other attendees of this bridal shower. And so I really didn't talk to any of the girls. I think there was a few like heys and highs, but like the vibes were very clearly off. I clearly could tell everyone knew what was going on, all the girls. So I spent most of my time talking to randoms. It was beautiful. It was beautifully set up. There were table settings with everyone's name, and everyone was kind of already getting seated in their spots. People were already starting to eat. So I started looking for my name at the table and couldn't find it. And so I see in the center of the tables, all the girls, all the bridesmaids, all the really close friends are all seated together directly in the center of these tables. I look, my name is not there. So I asked the bride, like, hey, do you know where my spot is? Like, I tried to make a joke about it. I was like, I don't have my glasses on, I can't see very well. Like, do you know where my spot is? And she was like, somewhere down there, I think. And that was the only response I got, not like, oh, let me help you, nothing. So, and if you remember her text, she said they were setting tables up that morning. So they had just set these out. Like, I feel like you would know where your maid of honor was. She didn't help me. So I went to the side of the table, she said, and I looked around. It 100% was not there. My name was not on that side of the table. So finally, I'm so sorry. My kids were just banging on my wall, and I'm sure you heard it. So I look up on that side of the table. My name is not there. And I know I'm not in the middle with all the girls. So finally, one of the other bridesmaids who had been being pretty mean as well at this point, looked at me and was like, I think you're down there. So it was where all the family was seated, all of the bride's family. I've met them all a few times. Like, I'm comfortable enough with them that like I was like, oh, okay. So I went and looked, and I cannot find my name. It's not there. I cannot find my spot. And so I'm confused, and I'm like, okay, like, now I'm embarrassed. I'm walking around in circles around these tables. I don't have a spot. All the girls are already sitting and eating and now watching me. Like, I'm really starting to kind of panic, and I'm like, oh my God, like, there's no way this is happening. I don't know. So I am 95% positive that my name was not on that table. I want to believe that maybe I was seated down with the family and someone moved it. It ended up on the floor. I don't know. I want to believe that these girls would not have intentionally done that to me, but I don't know. What I do know is that my name was not on that table. And so I was humiliated. I didn't know what to do. I kind of was just like frozen for a second, tried to play it off. And thankfully another girl had decided not to come last minute. I'm not sure what the reasoning was. And so I went over and took her name card and moved in and was like, oh, it's a good thing she's not here. Like, I'll sit in her spot. And I sat with all the girls in the middle of the table, where I think I should have been anyways. I don't know why I would have been the only one on my own. So it is what it is. I sat, ate food. It was fine, whatever. I helped do gifts. I wanted to do what I was supposed to be doing as a maid of honor. I tried to help out as much as I could. I tried to like clean up the wrapping paper while she was opening gifts, and I was trying to be helpful, and I was trying to distract myself from how uncomfortable I felt and how embarrassed I felt, that no one else was speaking to me, that none of the bridesmaids were interacting with me. I tried to just, okay, let's do what I was here to do. So I did that. And when I left, I got in the car and instantly called my husband and was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. And the first thing he said to me was like, you should have left. And I was like, I don't know. In that moment, I kind of was just in survival mode. Like, I was so humiliated that it was like, it was a lot. And so I did what I thought was best. I did stay through the whole shower. I was one of the first girls to leave. Ironically, I did win the game of who knows the bride best, which kind of almost felt like a slap in the face at that point. But it is what it is, and it definitely feels like one now. So it is what it is. I went home. I knew I was hurt. I knew I was really bothered. I knew I wanted to talk about it. And so the next day, I texted the bride and I said, hey, can you get coffee this week? Obviously, just knowing I was hurt, knowing I wanted to talk. She responded with a long message that was not very kind, disinviting me and my husband to the wedding and kind of just saying, like, you're not someone I want in my life. You're not someone I want around. The message was not nice. There were a lot of digs in it. And it was really hurtful. And so I could tell that she wasn't looking for a discussion. She wasn't looking for, let's talk about this. Let's figure out our issues. It was clear her mind had already been made up. She'd already made this decision. She didn't want me there. Now she's already kind of saying these mean things. My feelings are really hurt. So I just responded and said, okay, thanks for letting me know. I didn't know what else to say, if I'm being completely honest. I didn't want to argue. I didn't want to keep going back and forth. There was nothing else left to say. So I said, thanks for letting me know, or thanks for sharing, something along those lines. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. And that was that. She posted her first TikTok about me and about this whole like drama, I guess if you want to call it that. I didn't see it that way. But she posted her first TikTok, not a nice one. Pretty sure it was not even a full 24 hours later after she had sent me this text. It is what it is. She also proceeded to go through all these group chats that I was a part of, change the group chat names, make nasty comments. She put in the bridesmaid group chat, oh, Jasmine's not coming. Ha 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 ha. Oh, she's still in here. Before proceeding to remove me from the chat. She went through other group chats doing similar things. She went through a work group chat that was myself, my husband, her and her now husband, and another couple making fun of us, doing the same thing, and then removed me from the chat, which is crazy because I'm pretty sure it's a chat I had created at one point, but all these hurtful things. And the bullying and the hate comments and the things her and her friends have said to me and about me on the internet now since have just got worse. So I'm gonna have to make a video addressing all of the allegations she's now said about me, because that really is why I started this. I want to clear the air. I want to address the things she's saying about the things I've supposedly done. Spoiler, most of them are not at all true. Actually, I don't think any of them are true, but we'll get into it. So there is gonna have to be one more video. This has been a lot, if I'm being completely honest, emotionally. So please bear with me. I will work on getting that one done. My kids go back to school tomorrow. It's Monday. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more time once baby girl is napping and everything tomorrow, and we'll get that one up as fast as I can, because I know a lot of people have questions about all the things she said I've been doing. So let's get into it. But please remember, you guys, this is someone that I do have love for. This is someone I care about. I don't want hate for her. I don't want hate for me. I simply want the mean girl behavior and the bullying to stop. So let's move forward with grace and compassion, please.
So I had this friend, and we're no longer friends right now, just because of the fact of what I'm about to tell y'all. So this is why we stopped being friends. Everybody knows when you go out in Atlanta is expensive. She had a birthday dinner, of course. I wanted to go out and celebrate, at that time, my friend, her birthday. But I had already knew, because she had already kind of gave me the rundown of what restaurant we were going to. We were going to Knife and ATL down at Buckhead. Okay, cool. She told me how much everything would be, price-wise, what we're looking at. Okay, cool. I like to look up the menu anyway, see what I can have, see what I can't have. I have allergies. I carry an EpiPen. Half of the food I gotta make sure they ain't cross-contamination with peanuts and tree nuts and all of this stuff. So I have to be very, very conscious of the food that I eat. So I want to see what you got on the menu. Plus, I don't like certain things, okay? I'm a pasta girly down to my core. I love some good pasta. So I was like, okay, I pretty much figured out what I was gonna end up eating. I grabbed this, like, it was like this, like, pasta little style linguine, whatever. I don't know. It was not all that for where we ended up going. Now, mind you, she had this birthday dinner, and it was a bunch of us at the table. I think it was like, was it like 10? It was like 10. Somewhere around that range. It wasn't no more than that, I don't think. I can't remember. It's been a couple years ago. So when the check comes out, of course the check is large, right? I'm think $3,000 or $4,000, right? When the tab come out. Okay, cool. So you know how in Atlanta you can when you got a party of 8 or more, you cannot split the check. So when I got there, when I arrived, I had already prepaid for my food. Okay, prepaid for my food. I already knew exactly what I wanted. I told them just to bring it to the table when they bring out food for everybody else. They said, okay, they brought mine out. I already paid for mine, so I was good to go. You get what I'm saying? Okay, fast forward. When it's time for the check to come out, she's like, Alexis, you didn't give me the money. I said, give you money for what? She was like, the bill, like, you know, we're gonna split it evenly down the middle. I said, no. When I walked in here, I had already talked to the chef because I told them I have allergies. They told me they did use a lot of peanuts and tree nuts there, but he would make sure that there was no cross-contamination, and I went ahead and paid for my food. She gets mad at me and saying, like, that is so weird. Why would you do that? What do you mean, why would I do that? No, you're weird. You're weird for thinking that I'm going to pay for your food. You're weird to think that I'm going to pay for you and all your friends' food just because y'all sit there and ordered the filet mignon and ordered the caviar, okay? There's only certain type of caviars I like anyways, okay? And it wasn't going to be from that place. So, like, I don't get it. Like, so I lost a friend. Would you even consider that a friend? Atlanta is very performative. Like, I genuinely do have a lot of great friends from Georgia that I love to my core. But I also had some friends that I had to cut off early on in the friendship because of little things like that when it comes down to things like that.
Do you ever hang out with that one friend that, like, they're so fun to hang out with that after you feel like posting like a Facebook mom? That post hangout joy makes me want to hop on Facebook and be like,
had the best time hanging with my friend Linda. You are a hoot and a holler, girl. I love you till the day I die.
Get ready with me while I tell you about the craziest pick-me girl bestie I've ever dealt with in my life. And I'm buckling for this one. So this was like 3 years ago in one of my single eras, right? And there is this guy that wanted to hang out with me so bad, would never leave me alone, and I was like, you know what, like, I'm just gonna hang out with this guy basically to get it over with, because I know it sounds bad. I was always just turning people down though. I was never interested in talking to anyone, and he was really putting in a lot of, effort, so I was like, fuck it, seemed really nice, I'll hang out with him. Now, I had told him, like, I'm not just coming over, I'm gonna meet you somewhere in public. He was like, yeah, totally fine, like, I understand, let's meet at place. So we end up meeting at the place, and he actually was really funny, right? And I was like, okay, this guy is like, and he was cute, funny. I'm like, maybe I was too judgmental in my I hate a man era. And I really thought, honestly, not even that part, I thought like I could be friends with this guy. Even if it didn't work out, I'm like, this is someone I could actually hang out with and like have a friendship with. No. He was like, my friends are having this big, like, not like party, but like kickback down the street. I showed them a picture of you and they really want like to meet you, blah, 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 some horse shit, right? And I was like, I don't know, like, I am very out of a house party phase. Like, I was closer to 30 at the point than I was to 20. I was like, I'm just not really interested in that. And he was like, no, it's not like a party. It's just like a few of my friends. Like, please, I don't want to stop hanging out with you. I stupidly say, fine, I'll stop by. I'm not staying late. I have things to do tomorrow. I will stop by. So it's only like 5 minutes away from where we were at beforehand. And we get there and he's like, hey, I just have to tell you really quick. I had to think of a name for this girl. I'll call her Casey. I gotta tell you really quick. My best friend, Casey, is in there, and she can be a lot. And mind you, he had brought up Casey. The reason I'm saying Casey is because her name was something like gender fluid, so I thought at first he was talking about his guy best friend, because he had brought up Casey a couple times, like, when we were hanging out. So, in my head, I'm thinking Casey's a dude, because it was just odd the way he made it sound. And when he calls her a she, I was like, oh, okay, like, do you have a thing with her? I was like, let me tell you one thing really quick before I walk in there with you. I fight for no one's attention. I will never refuse ever to be a prop to make another girl jealous. If you are talking to this girl, X, Y, and Z, I think that shit's nasty. When girls do that and, like, try and intentionally be with someone to make someone else jealous, I don't compete for anyone's attention. Tell me now straight how it is, or I'm not walking through that door. And he looks, like, kind of shocked at me. Like, I just said something crazy. And he was like, no, like, trust me, like, we've never hooked up, like, I've known her forever. It's not like that. It's just that she is very protective over me because she's known me for so long. And I'm like, I think I'm going to leave. I didn't even want to give it a chance. I was like, I think I'm just going to leave. He's like, no, please, like, I'm really having fun with you. I was like, fine, I'll get a chance, but I'm telling you, if your friend makes me uncomfortable, or if any weird shit happens, I'm leaving. Like, that's it. So I walk in with him. He's introducing me to, like, 4 of his friends, and then there's the Casey girl with another girl. When I walk in, they're both dead staring at me. And it's like that stare where, like, I feel bad for a girl sometimes, because, like, you try too hard to make, like, a bad face, and you end up just looking really weird. Like, it's not working. I was getting really weird looks. I'm, like, smiling at them, though. I'm not a fucking mean girl. And he finally is like, hey, like, come up here, to Casey and her friend, right? And they're walking over, and she's like, as she's walking up to me, I was like, what the fuck's going on? She's like, I'm Casey. I am his bestie for the restie. I said, hey, Casey, I'm Riley. And she's like, I know. I'm like, how do you know? Like, I've literally just met him. Like, I'm confused. And she says, I saw when he followed you on Instagram. This girl's watching his following. I followed him back. Because, mind you, he'd been following me for a while, trying to hang out with me. I followed him back, like, a week before we ended up hanging out. So I'm like, whoa, like, this girl definitely is in love with this guy. Like, she's watching his following. I was like, oh, okay. Well, like, I've heard a lot of great things about you. Like, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for having me over here, even though it wasn't her house. And she goes, We're gonna call this guy, we're gonna call him G. She goes, G? A minute. And she, like, tries to point him over, and he was like, no. He's standing by me. And I was like, you really should go talk to her. Like, I just told you outside what I thought. I'm about to just leave. He's like, no, please don't leave, please. He's like, I'm so fucking sorry. He's like, Casey, goddamn it, what? And he, like, walks away with her. They're talking in this corner together, right? She's, like, to him the whole time, and I can see her, like, looking at me and, like, laughing and, like, touching his arm. I'm like, you know what? This is actually, like, kind of entertaining. I'm just gonna stay for a minute to see how this plays out, because this is just, like, getting a little bit funny, because I am no threat to this girl. Keep him, sis. Have him. I'm fighting for no one's attention. It's for the birds. Anyways, he walks back over to me, and he's like, hey, I'm sorry, like, can I get you a drink? And I wasn't gonna drink because I was obviously driving, so I was like, no, like, it's okay, because I'm driving. And he was like, you mentioned to me that, like, you really like iced tea. You want some iced tea? I was like, that's really sweet, yeah. You know what? I'll take an iced tea. So, me and him, ignore this, by the way, trust process. I know I look crazy right now. Me and him walk into the kitchen, and he pulls out one of these, like, Lipton, like, bottled teas. And he hands it to me, and Casey shows up behind me. She's like, I'm gonna make up a name for the other guy. Does Greg know that she's drinking his teas? Like, those are for when he goes to work. As dude is literally handing it to me, and he looked at her and he's like, Casey, I'm handing her the drink, it's fine, can you fuck off? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish my makeup in a second because it takes me too long to try and talk and do that. But she was like, oh my god, I'm just trying to teach her the house rules, like, she's new. And his response to her was, this isn't a fucking frat house. What are you talking about, house rules? What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh my god, this is so awkward. Cat's tail. Like, he wasn't even entertaining her at all. And I'm like, oh my god, I actually feel bad for her at this point. Like, this is so awkward. She proceeds to, like, walk past us and grab a fifth of Tito's on the counter, looks at him, slams, I'm not kidding, oh, Gizmo. probably about 4 shots at once, and she's already drunk clearly by the time we get there. And I'm like, me and him are both watching it like, oh. Then like 10 minutes later, we're all sitting in the backyard together, okay? Clearly these shots have hit her. She goes, all right, you know what? And she stands up and she said, whoever thinks that Riley is a mean girl and that G can do better, I need you to raise your... Oh my God, I felt so embarrassed for her. I need you to raise your glass with me right now. And G's face, the guy, mortified. Everyone's jaws on the floor. No one picks up their glass. Everyone is like, not sure what to do. Like, she looks at me and she goes, you know what? Never mind. You're not even fucking cute, Playboy. Because I swear for Playboy, and I think at the time it was in my bio, and she said she'd seen my Instagram. And I was like, so I'm gonna go. She ended up leaving and I left right after her. I was like, no offense to you, dude, but like, this is not something I'm interested in. Even like, I can't even be your friend if you hang out with people like this. Like, this is way too much for me. Hi. I don't like do this drama with people. She ends up reaching out to me. I didn't see it because it was in my message request, but like the very next day on Instagram. And I read it like 3 days later because again, it was in my request, so I don't check that every day. She ended up reaching out to me being like, I'm so sorry, girl. Like, I don't even remember what I said, but G hasn't talked to me. And you should just know that, like, we were in love. And I was just really upset because we were talking about getting married. And then he brought you over to our friend's house. And I was like, geez, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I had no idea that's how he portrayed it to me. Turns out that was a lie. I'm finding out, but I never talked to him again after that. No bad blood, but oh my God. And Casey, for the love of Pete, I hope you have healed, girl, and move on to someone that actually wants to be around you. That's all for now. Bye, guys.